What's going on, y'all? It's Athletes Culture again, coming at you with another video. So, as we all know, The Last Dance, the 10-part series put out by ESPN, documenting the 1998 Chicago Bulls and their run during that season, just came out today. And, part of what I want to do is, just do some commentary on some of the episodes as they release each week. And one thing that we have to take away from episodes 1 and 2 is two major points that they brought up. Scottie Pippen and him being underpaid, and Jerry Krause in the way that he's portrayed. And for starters, when you look at the Scottie Pippen situation, a lot of people may laugh at Scottie Pippen, like, how can you take such a deal? And for those who don't know, he signed a deal, 7 years, $18 million. And during the 1998 season, he was coming up at the end of that deal, and it was time to talk about a contract negotiation. He was trying to make up some money that was lost, from that 7-year deal that he signed, I think back in either 89 or 90. So him coming into the 98 season, 97, 98 season, he was coming up for contract renegotiation. And a lot of people laugh at that, but you have to understand the mindset in which Scottie Pippen even spoke about. This is somebody who came from Central Arkansas, did not have that much money growing up at all, poor, grinded his way, did not go to a prestigious university to play basketball, wasn't really quite on the team, had to grind his way to make it on the team to get a scholarship and perform. So all his life, he's been fighting, he's been scratching and clawing to get what he wants. And now this is his time to get some sort of payday. Don't you think, and like he said, he was looking for security. His whole family was looking towards him. So it was not necessarily the money, but more so the 7 years. The 7 years guaranteed that he was going to have a check coming in, that he could sustain his whole family. That's what people need to understand. Yeah, at the time, hindsight is 2020. We can all look back and look and say, like, oh, man, you missed out on. Everybody's going to be able to do that. But nobody knew the league was going to explode the way it did. Remember, players like Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and now you could toss in Michael Jordan, they are what saved the NBA. And at the time that Scottie Pippen had signed that contract, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were on their way out of the NBA. Michael Jordan had already flirted with the idea of retiring. So nobody knew the salary caps were going to explode the way that they did. So you cannot fault Scottie Pippen for the decisions that he made. In the long run of things, Scottie Pippen didn't make, he easily had to have made over $100 million worth in basketball when you look back at it. But still, at that time, you can't fault him for signing that deal. Security was the main factor in him signing that deal. And a lot of people who want to talk about, like, oh, they would have bet on themselves, stop it. At that time, that day and age in sports, stop it. If you were offered with that chance of money, you look back at people like Magic Johnson, they were signing 25-year deals. 25 years for $25 million. That's where the deals people in Magic Johnson's era were signing. Less money than that, probably. So that's Scottie Pippen. You can't fault him. It's a lack of awareness. Definitely lack of awareness on, the business side of basketball. But hey, you live and you learn, You live and you learn. You cannot fault him for that. At the end of the day, yeah, he made over $109 million in basketball earnings. Went on to the Houston Rockets, Portland Trailblazers, where he was getting his rightful due. All right, so you can't fault him for that. You just have to take it of it as a learning lesson, which he did, and he catapulted himself off of that. Can't fault him. Scottie Pippen is a great guy. Can't fault him. And another person, which, the documentary does not, I guess, do a great job in painting a good light. And I'm not taking up for the guy like he's a great guy, but Jerry Krause, for example. Now, he's the architect of those Bulls teams, helped draft Scottie Pippen, was a deciding factor, them getting Michael Jordan, had hands in that. Heck, he was even one who gave Phil Jackson his chance in coaching that team. And the lack of respect and the lack of credit he received, I think, really took a toll on somebody like Jerry Krause. And a lot of people in society, once again, are the same way. No matter how they want to paint it, a lot of people in society are the same way. Everybody wants to get their credit. Everybody wants to have, that recognition. He wanted his. All right. And when you look at it, more so than, Jerry Krause, people have to look at it like Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls, majority owner of the Bulls. He's a real a-hole, not Jerry Krause. Reinsdorf is a real a-hole. Jerry Krause's beef was with none other than Phil Jackson. That was what his beef was, because he felt Phil Jackson was the person putting the battery behind Scottie Pippen's back to cause a lot of the chaos that was going on in that season. He was the one. Phil Jackson, he was the one that put the battery in his back. Phil Jackson was the one who alienated, Jerry Krause from the rest of the team. So Jerry Krause had a real problem with Phil, per se. Nobody else other than Phil Jackson. And I mean, at times, obviously, with Scottie Pippen, but that was just basically an offshoot of what's going on with Phil Jackson. But when you look at Jerry Krause, you have to give credit. I mean, the guy, for somebody who's not a basketball guy, he didn't have much of a basketball background, for him to construct a team the way he did during that day and age, you have to tip your hats off to him. You really do. But moreover, those two people, in this whole documentary, they really don't shed a complete story on what's going on. And that's Scottie Pippen and Jerry Krause. Now, Jerry Krause, when they talk about him breaking up the team, yes, for every good reason. Every good reason. Scottie Pippen was 32, Mike was 34, Rodman was 36. That core of that team was in their, they were in their mid 30s, early to mid 30s. I mean, it's time to break that team up. In professional sports, that's old. And even if you look at it, they were the oldest team in the NBA. Them and the Houston Rockets averaged about 32 years of age. 32 years in age. The Houston Rockets and the Chicago Bulls, they were the oldest. So I don't blame Jerry Krause. Had the foresight. He knew it was up. Time was up for that team. You had teams, the younger teams, like the Lakers, who averaged an age of 25. They were coming up. With players like Shaq, Kobe, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, those teams were coming up. The Sixers were coming up. Heck, even the Toronto Raptors were looking to come up. Those teams were on the come up. Portland Trail Blazers, Minnesota Timberwolves. That was going to be the new generation. And Jerry Krause wanted to get ahead in that. You had the 2000 draft that was coming up, 99 draft that was there. He wanted to go and get some of that young talent that was coming into the league. So him wanting to break up the 98 Bulls, more power to him. He was right. That team needed to get broken up after that season. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't get the credit that was due for that. Same as Scottie Pippen doesn't get the credit that he was due on how great he made those Chicago Bulls teams. How much Scottie actually loved the city of Chicago more than Michael Jordan did. You've seen footage of him crying at their ring ceremony and him thanking the city of Chicago. You never seen that from Mike. Mike did not care. Michael Jordan was ready to get traded from the Bulls for all intents and purposes. So, like I said, I'm going to just continue to bring you guys backstories and insights and what the documentary fails to deliver. I want to hear what y'all have to say, especially for most of y'all that lived through that era. Like, comment, subscribe down below. I'm out.